Testing, testing, testing. JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. January 23rd, 2024. Just going to be on a couple minutes. A lot of the things I'm going to say I said yesterday, so check out the rant from yesterday. It's on the blog. First, one of the things I did talk about yesterday on the rant was about China. And I talked about this last week too in regards to BIDU. And all the China ADRs, which were getting destroyed. BIDU closed at hit a multi-year low yesterday. BABA seemed to be in a free fall. The way it was going, I thought maybe if there was no news or catalysts, BIDU could be sub 90 or 90 around there. But I said yesterday that it seems every time the China markets are ready to just really just implode, all of a sudden China comes in with some news about some liquidity or injection of some kind of capital. And that's what happened. Reports overnight. I think it was Bloomberg, a $278 billion infusion. I don't know exactly what the details, all the nuts and bolts of it, but it just means China stock's going to get bid up. So, I was sitting here and my BIDU 114s were pretty much, I wouldn't call them written off, but pretty much done. Came back to life this morning. We're up over 100%, and it was at 60 cents. In my head, I think the BIDU is going into the teens. So it's sitting here at 106.90, 107. It's probably going to chop around. And if China markets rally and Asia rallies overnight, I could see BIDU being 112 or 110 plus tomorrow, and then even higher into the end of the week. Just because I said it yesterday too, I think, or said it last week. It's like BIDU is the baby that's been thrown out with the bathwater. So it's the preeminent AI play in China. It's made leaps and bounds. Had a great earnings report last quarter. I just think it goes higher. So I'll continue to hold my calls. At some point, I'll look to lock some in to cover costs, but I'm probably going to do it over $1. That's the plan. Considering there were nothing pretty much yesterday. I might as well just hold for the targets. That's kind of the thought process there. We've seen it before where, it sits here, then overnight China rallies. I said it yesterday, 6 to 7%. I don't know if it'll be that high, but another 2 or 3%. And BIDU should be over 110. You also have news, Jack Ma and who's not the CEO anymore, and then the other gentleman, they bought, I guess, over 200 million shares of BABA over the last 3 months. There was a filing. I don't take much. When there's insider sells, it doesn't mean as much to me as insider buys, but so that helped BABA's stock as well. And also there was news in the gaming sector, so NetEase and some of these other names, online gaming in China. I guess there was some news scaling back some regulations or what have you. So I think all that together, you see these names running, and I think there's more upside coming. So I'll continue to hold those BIDU strikes. I'm not going to add anything more yet. I put it on the watch list. I put a typo. I think I said 150. I thought if it got over 105, I'd add some later dated strikes. But considering how frustrating it's been, I don't want to pour more salt in the wound if there's pullback overnight or what have you. So I don't think that's going to be the case, but it's certainly anything's possible, especially with earnings tonight from Netflix. So I don't know how much that will move the China markets, but so that's BIDU. VKTX, not going to talk too much about it here. It's at $23, closed over 22 for the first time since June 15th. Great sign. I think it heads over $25. I keep looking for strikes, and I was looking earlier today. I still have some March 20s, and I don't want to. I kind of want to hold those, but if I do look for others, I might lock the March 20s in, the rest of them, and add some later strikes, because the March 20s are they're 550 by 590 now. But it's tough to find risk reward strikes here. I could go to 30 strikes. They're 2 by 215. That's tough, because if if VKTX has bad data, or even if they have good oral data, it doesn't mean the stock's gonna be over $30. I think it will be, but it might be a premium crush if let's say it goes only till 28. So it's tough for me to wrap my head around some of the calls. Now the February 30s look a little more interesting on a risk reward, especially if we finally get the oral data and that's positive. Those are only 60 by 75 cents, so I can kind of wrap my head a little bit around getting those. But I'll probably just wait and see how things play out. I mean, if you really gain some steam, gets to 25, maybe I'll look for some more strikes to play for upside. But finally holding its gains, knock on wood, that it holds here into the close. And then I think it's setting up really nicely into, for at least a move up into 30 into data. Let's see if I have it up here. Yeah, so I'm just pulling my chart up. All right, so that's VKTX. I posted just before, Netflix has an implied move of 8% going into earnings after the close today. They announced news with WWE that they're gonna stream Raw. Stocks spiked on the news and kind of came back in. I think it's like a $10 billion investment. But here is at 489. I think it's going to be a great quarter again for Netflix. I looked at the historical moves. I was up 16% last quarter, down 8% the quarter before, down 3% the quarter before that, up 8% the quarter before that. So you just take the median and it's 9% move or what have you. So the risk reward, again, similar to VKTX, it's tough to wrap my head around getting some serious out of money calls on Netflix. Let's see if I can take a look at the strikes. And I could pull it back, but I don't have the weekly. Do I have the weekly up here? It was back at the end of 2021. It was $700. It doesn't mean it gets up there, but let's see if if it's a beat and raise, maybe it gets to 550, and then you take a look at the weekly 550s, and look, and those are 350 by 365. So, and those are weeklies. They'll expire in 3 days at the open on Wednesday morning. So I'd rather just sit on my hands if I see some opportunities at the open tomorrow. Maybe I'll look to trade some Netflix. And then on the flip side is Roku, and it's just sitting here floundering. And it's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm sitting on some bidless Roku calls. So I think Netflix is going to report a great quarter. I always try and play Roku for some sympathy move. It hasn't happened over the last couple of quarters, so I'll probably just sit on my hands on that one. Of course, ironically, this will be the time that Roku soars on a Netflix beat and raise over $100, or there's some news. Maybe there's some M&A news, which you probably won't see me here tomorrow. I'll be banging my head on the wall too much. So that's Roku, that's Netflix, VKTX, BIDU, Fiverr. There was some action in the pre-market. It was 28.50 it closed at. Then it was 28.70, 28.90. It opened, went all the way up to 29.20, and then the small cap sold off. And sure enough, Fiverr reverses all the gains, is down 2%. My calls were almost 100%, almost able to lock them out. And of course, we had the slide here. I still think it heads over $30. Seems sensitive to the IWM, and the small caps, which played catch up yesterday, were down almost nearly 1% at times this morning, only down 0.25%. If it starts to find some footing, I think Fiverr heads back up there, so I'll hold those. RUM and DWAC, right? So DWAC, I think it's 62 at the pre-market open at 4 a.m., all the way down into the 40s, then back up at the open, and then all the way down to the 40s again, and then just recently was up almost near $60. So, if you like a name that moves, certainly one to play this week. The issue is the premiums are expensive. I was looking before in the 100. They finally, so yesterday, if you looked at the DWAC calls, the strikes went up to $55. Now they're all the way up to 100. They open up to 100. At one point, the 100 weekly strikes, which expire on Friday, were 229 by 260 or something like that, which is crazy considering the stock was at $57. That would, imply a 90% move just in the next couple of days just to get those strikes. But you never know with these names. It's a pure speculation play. This isn't an EPS, revenue, earnings play at all. It's just a straight, a proxy on Donald Trump, right? That's pretty much what it is. So, and who knows? We've seen this before. The thing is run like a banshee all the way up to 304. I'm not saying the same thing happens, but it's fun to watch when all the other names are kind of chopping today. I keep my eyes on that one. Rumble. So, Rumble's one of those other names, people who are looking for free speech, right? You have all these advertisers, and there's always you always hear things and read things. Advertisers pulling money from Twitter or whatever it is, all these platforms, because they, there's some content that they don't approve of and whatever. I get it, but no one puts a mouse in your hand or, the click or your phone in your hand and says, watch this video, right? Unless you have to watch an ad, but then just don't watch it. It's same with these TV shows. Nobody says if you don't like what a TV show is is about, then don't watch it, right? That's the best form of democracy out there. If nobody watches a TV show, it won't be on the air anymore, right? There won't be any ads. So Rumble is kind of a play with YouTube and Google. Some of these folks, I don't even know some of the names of them, who have been banned or removed from YouTube because of their content. They go to Rumble. Barstool Sports just announced that they're doing some kind of live stream exclusive content just on Rumble. But you can see it's up quite a bit. So to me, take a look at DWAC and Rumble. It's kind of like a proxy on the politics right now. So I don't like to get into politics because it's a very divisive subject, and no one's ever going to change my mind. Someone else is not going to. I'm not going to change anyone else's. So all it does is cause discourse in the Discord, right? So interesting name to watch. I was looking a week or two ago on Rumble, and I just kind of passed. And now you see it's up 40% today. And you look at some of the calls. It's only monthly strikes. It's up 30% here. It's tough. I mean, the calls are only up 140% despite the huge move. But 80,000 contracts traded on the call side, 11,000 on the put side. That's a heck of a lot of activity. I'm not. Where was it? Was it a $30 stock? Has it done splits? I think it was $20 stock back in 2022. Very volatile, all the way down. Was it $2 in December? No, November. Interesting. Huh. Well, a lot of these names are quite a bit off the lows over the last couple weeks and months. I'm trying to think of some other names. Obviously, Tesla. After the close tomorrow, I don't really know. I mean, the thing is, Tesla is now part of the S&P, so it certainly, can move markets just because of its large market cap as well. But I mean, here it is, $200. There's articles. I mean, I've went on rants on Tesla since way back, but there's articles talking about. It seems like everybody's infatuated with Musk. It's like, if you've never followed the Tesla story, he's not a normal CEO. He's not a normal person. He does things different. He's not an atypical CEO, right? But what he is, he's intelligent, and his mind works much differently than many other people's minds work. So it's funny, they what was the last week or 2 weeks ago was that he was doing drugs, right? Doing drugs. People concerned about him doing drugs, mushrooms and all that stuff, right? I think he talks about Adderall. Oh no, maybe that's the Barstool Sports guy. But what's the other thing now? He was worried about his stake in Tesla, or he wants more control. I don't know. People used to have issues with Google, right? So Google did that split. So it used to just be Google, GOOGL was the ticker, or GOOG. And then they split it off into two classes of stocks so that Serge and whoever the other person is had complete control over the company, and people were bugging out about it. And that's thousands of percent ago, right? So it's like these people who are much more intelligent than I am, doing what they should be doing, are able to execute on a business without people getting in their way, right? That's pretty much what it is. So if you're a shareholder of that company, and you don't like what they're doing, then don't hold the shares, right? Dude, that's your vote, right? It's the same. It's the same with the TV shows and all that other stuff. I don't get it. Sometimes things don't make sense to me. But anyway, so Tesla, we'll have to see what happens after the close tomorrow. Everybody, the big talk, the last earnings was about the discounts. They're having a demand issue, and then sometimes it's a supply issue. They have too much supply, then it's not enough demand. Then it's too much demand. Then so it's funny. They just spin the narrative to fit whatever headlines are coming out over the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, Gordon Johnson, he's blocked me on Twitter. That guy has been bearish on Tesla since 2012 at least. I don't even want to go back and look. And they'll make the arguments. Their job is to give color on the stock, right? Is to provide analysis, and then you make your decision or whatever. Okay, I get that. But he goes on CNBC and he'll say, come on, I want to argue with you. And you lost your argument. You've been wrong to the tune of 10,000% on Tesla, right? Someone put $1 in at the time you said you had your sell rating in, they made $10,000. So to sit there and to continue to be able to spew negativity and then to be cited on these analyst upgrade downgrades it's like comical, right? To me, it's like a disgrace to the whole analyst buy, sell, upgrade, downgrade system to have someone like that who's completely, because it has been completely wrong, to continue to be able to spew it. But we'll have to see what happens. I mean, it's still a divisive name. There's sectors definitely getting a lot more competitive. But you have now you have your they have the truck, the semi. There's a lot more. Eventually the robot, right? I mean, so there's a lot of levers they can pull down the line. And then, I've talked about since 2013, around when Solar City was still a publicly traded company. At some point, it's going to be about taking homes off the grid, right? And they've pretty much done that with some, not to the extent of being able to completely be off the grid, but when you have solar and then you have a battery in your garage that's able to power your house during downtime and when the sun's not out, it's the whole thing. Another rant for another day, but it's some of the reason why I think there's a lot of negativity around Tesla, because when you have all these utility companies, oil and gas, they all depend on power plants, or fossil fuels and all that fun stuff. And then when you have a company that might be able to disrupt that sector as a whole, all these folks with big pockets are going to try their best to smash the company that's trying to disrupt them. And many years from now, we'll probably hear all the stories of what happened behind the scenes when they tried to bankrupt Tesla a couple of years ago, and they'll continue to do so. But the rants for other days. And again, just my opinion. I'm probably completely wrong. I'm not naive enough to think I know everything. I don't. I get plenty wrong. But when trading, you got to try and, number one, obviously be wrong, not be right a heck of a lot more than you're wrong. And then, you got to be able to come up with your own analysis and do due diligence and all that stuff. Because if you're not able to tune out some of the noise, you could have been stuck short Tesla for the last 10 years and would not have been fun. So, all right, that's my rant. I think I went too long. 1 hour, 10 minutes to the close. Should be a fun one with Netflix. Then we have Tesla tomorrow. I think IBM, Intuitive Surgical at the end of the week, Visa. And then we have GDP numbers Thursday. And then we have the PCE data on Friday. Hopefully we get the PCE data comes in flat. Even if it's a tad hotter, I don't think that's a big deal. But if there's some big surprise, I mean, we're up here at all-time highs. So certainly susceptible, but at the same time, new highs beget new highs. 490 maybe on the SPY, and then maybe some kind of 2, 3, 4% pullback. All right, folks, that's it. Let's have a great day. Rock and roll.